Welcome, horror fan, to HHN365, a Halloween Horror Nights podcast. My name is Jonathan, and I'm here with my co-host, Jess. Duff was not able to make it today. He is on a cruise. We are very jealous of him, but he's having a great time and talking to us in the group chat about how excited he is for all the stuff we are going to be talking about today. We have social media, as you guys know. We have Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at HHN365 and TikTok at HHN365pod. We have a Discord, our horror fan Discord server, and the link is in the description. We have a merchandise shop at hhn365.com. Definitely make sure to check that out. And we have a voicemail if you want to talk to us and let us know about things so you can hear it on the show. And that'd be 407-906-4134. And on today's show, we're going to be talking about news. We have construction for Hollywood, construction for Orlando, of course, a Spooky Empire panel, and last but not least, our first original house announcement for Halloween Horror Nights Orlando. So with that said, we have a lot to discuss, and that was so scary because that was my first time doing the intro.
I didn't want to mess you up. You did so good, Jonathan, on the first take too.
I know. I appreciate it. And
Baby's
we're not lying.
Growing up. I know. Oh my God. I could cry over here. Wow. I didn't want to do it. So thanks.
I know. You're welcome. This was cool. It was very cool. But we do have some 365 news. First thing being something that actually I was a part of this one. The YouTube Live. I'm usually not, but this one we did do. I was there. This one we talked about the Jason Universe announcement, right, Jess?
My man. Yeah, it was great. And then I only hung out with chat for like 40 minutes at most after you left.
Mm-hmm.
Not that chat was bad. I was just sleepy. But if you were there, thanks for hanging out with me. I feel like people like I asked them to name it. So we had just Jess. There was Just Us. There was like a funny pun that now I can't remember, and I'm so sorry because I loved it in the live. But you can go check it out. It's uploaded on YouTube if you missed it. Excuse me.
Yeah, and we even got our own duo name.
We did. Do we tell them? Should
We
we tell
do.
them? I
Let's
feel like
do
we
it.
should. Welcome to this episode where Goglithin are hosting.
That's it. We're going to provide no context. If you want context, you can watch the YouTube Live that has been uploaded on our YouTube channel for your viewing pleasure. All of our lives are uploaded, right after they finish. So if you can never make a live because of the time and the time we do it, that's totally okay. You can always watch it afterwards on our channel.
Yeah, and we'll probably, this is going to upload on Monday, so we'll probably have a live on Tuesday. If you're listening to this the day we upload. So come hang out with us. It'll probably be around 8. Give or take.
Yeah, we'll be talking about the house announcement, all the Spooky Empire stuff, and possibly more info if, things play out like last year. We'll see. But another thing to note that I didn't actually add in the outline, but I wanted to because it got insane traction on social media to the point where I was like, wow, I guess we should bring this up. Our moderator on Discord, Alex, made a bet very early on. I think it was in April. And basically, he basically said, I don't believe Friday the 13th / Jason is coming to the event. It was an early rumor at that point. Makes sense why you wouldn't believe it because it's always rumored and it, usually doesn't happen. And said, if it does happen in any capacity, I will ride Jimmy Fallon. Not me. He will. He in particular. He will ride Jimmy Fallon from Park Open to Park Close. And Jason Universe got announced last week. So guess what he did 2 days ago? He rode Jimmy Fallon, Park Open to Park Close.
32 and a half times, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, the half being the one time he got evac'd, which is quite crazy. But he not only got to, he did that, which good on him. I would never have the strength to do something like that. But the team members were super nice, and we gave them all UO fist bumps on Twitter, even though Universal thought it was because Alex did this because he was celebrating his birthday, which no. I don't think he'd ever want to celebrate his birthday in this capacity. But the team members really had a great time and gave him like a shirt and some merchandise from Jimmy Fallon, and even gave him a little button that said #1 Fallon fan. So they honestly made the best out of his bet, and this is just some of the chaos you can experience if you are on our Discord server, because we do stuff like this all the time, little silly, stupid stuff that isn't, what we normally do on other channels. So if you're interested in that, make sure to join the server. for that type of content.
Yeah, and also if you want to keep up with anything going on, like a Spooky Empire panel, because they were giving me all the information I needed.
Oh my god. Like, we'll get into it, but every outlet that was there decided to post different parts of the panel and wouldn't just post all the information on one channel. So you had to like go from Twitter account to Twitter account to Twitter account to get all the pieces. Because what I do for these episodes, I compile a giant outline. And for Spooky Empire, I had to jump to like 5 different accounts and keep going back and forth to get all the information. And I honestly don't even know if I got all of it because there was so many differences between the accounts.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy, but our Discord was killing it. So
Mm-hmm.
go check it out. I lurk sometimes. I don't really ever chat in there, but be careful. I might be watching. I guess after
Exactly.
today, that's like my warning to our Discord server.
Are you just
Be
like
cautious.
Roz from Monsters Inc? Like always watching.
I was thinking more of like the mother, like watching all of her children, like
Oh,
not
that's better.
misbehave. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I feel like I guess I could be mom. I'm mom in this case, and I'm watching, always watching. I guess I am Roz too. So
Sure. You're like the main character in the Graveyard House, Graveyard Games.
the glowing mother.
Glowing mother watching over the
Oh,
children.
my
See?
God, I'm glowing. Thanks, Jonathan. Okay,
You're
we should probably
welcome.
get into like the actual horror nights now.
See, this is because we're Goglathan right now, so we are on a hinge. We don't have Duff reeling us
We
in.
have no one steering us. As I said, I'm watching in the Discord server, not on the podcast. I'm not mom here. I barely know
Oh,
what's going on.
but Jess, where should we start today?
We should unleash some things in Vegas because they sure did.
Whoa.
Hoo-hoo, there we go. See, if you guys give me a chance, I can be creative.
That was good. That was very good.
What do we have?
Oh, yeah. So we got more details for the Universal Monsters house that was previously announced to appear at the venue. And here's the thing. We did not talk about pretty clearly we did not talk about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre when they had their full announcement video. We didn't talk about the Exorcist Believer when they had their full announcement video for Vegas for Universal Horror Unleashed because frankly, they just said what everyone's expecting. Basically copy paste. Like it's not going to be exact copy paste obviously because it's a different venue, it's different space, but every detail they gave was just everything we've already experienced in the honestly, particularly Orlando versions of these houses. So that's why we didn't even talk about them because there was no use. We're just going to say, hey, guess what? We already knew it was announced and it's exactly what we think it's going to be. This has been the one exception besides Scarecrow that had like the little extra part that we talked about. And it's that it has a bit of a different description than the other Universal Classic Monsters houses. And honestly, it's kind of like Eternal Bloodlines and the original Monsters house from 29 or 2018 if you went to Hollywood had a baby. And basically this is the overall description they gave that we are following Van Helsing as he battles all the Universal Classic monsters. And the bigger description that came with all the press releases and everything went, the cinematic legends have broken free from the silver screen to stalk unwitting victims in the Universal Monsters haunted house, resurrecting the most legendary monsters of all time. Guests will pass through the crumbling mausoleum of famed monster hunter Van Helsing and into the cursed domains of creatures that define the genre, from the shadowy halls of Castle Dracula to the sandy tombs guarded by the mummy to the crackling lab where Frankenstein's monster and the bride still draw breath. Now, Jess, how do you feel about this take on a Universal Monsters house?
I mean, I guess if it's something that's going to be year round, you kind of want to see all of them. So
Mm-hmm.
I think it'd be more of a miss if they okay, to compare it to like an all-timer for me, like Bride. I don't think that Bride would be a good installation for Vegas.
No, it
I think
wouldn't.
this is perfect. I don't know how I feel about Van Helsing though. Not gonna
Mm-hmm.
lie, like he's fine. So I guess putting him there makes sense too. But I'm just happy that it's all the monsters.
Yeah, I wonder if he's only there because it seems like all of these houses are sort of surrounded by story. Like they're trying to really immerse you. They're like, this is an immersive. I mean, the whole place. They're like, this whole entire experience is its own story. They mention how like everything's sort of connected in some way or form, and how they want story to be the most important part. And technically, if you're just jumping from, if they do it like 29, where it's just here's the Wolfman part, here's the Hunchback part, here's the Phantom part, without really any story because that house didn't really have a story. It's just like it's time to see the monsters, which was not a problem. That house is one of the best, if not the best, monsters house we've had. But I can see why in Vegas they might want it to have a bit of a story, and that's what Van Helsing would do, and why we go to all the different locations instead of just it's for fun. You know?
Yeah, and also shameless plug, we have ranked our personal opinions on all the monsters houses that have come to Orlando, so you should go check that episode out from last year, I think.
That was one of
What was
like
that? That
my
was a fun
favorites to
one.
record. We
Mm-hmm.
battled like all of them. It was back to back, and I'm glad we battled them before Eternal Bloodlines existed because that would have been sad.
Yeah.
Uh,
But no, I like this. I'm happy we get to see the monsters there, but like also I, it's not going to be like our monsters, I guess the best way I could put it.
you don't think it will be? You don't think it will be like the ones from like Halloween Horror Nights, those versions?
No, it'll be them. I'm not saying it's going to be like the epic like Darkmoor versions or anything like that, but I mean like I just don't think it's going to feel like Orlando's take on any of the monsters specifically or
Mm.
like how our houses were, and I'm not saying Hollywood's were bad. They're just different.
Hmm.
I don't know. That's just how it feels to me. That's just my guess, and I'm like I said, I'm probably not going to experience this year at all. So, I'll be living through videos.
Yeah, no, as big as a Horror Nights fans we are, it's just the case of like it's opening right when the two other events we're about to experience are going to open, and
Mhm.
every house is almost copy paste or like
Yeah.
very similar. So there's not enough draw to take the flight yet, and pay all that money and do all that planning when there's so much else going on during that time. But when it gets dead, and when the haunt season's over, that's a great time to check it out because we'll be wanting anything HHN.
Yeah, and that's kind of like I think my thought process on the whole thing is I'll experience it in like winter of 2026 maybe.
Exactly.
I don't know, we'll see. But they did give us more than that. They
They
gave us
did.
themed area and bar reveals. So we have a feel of what the vibe is going to be outside the houses. So we got Dead Storage. One of the themed areas within the venue will offer tales and stunts, enveloping guests in a shadow filled sanctuary with forgotten set pieces and eerie relics reclaimed by night dwelling creatures, vampires, a werewolf in mid transformation, and others.
Ooh.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's not all we got. We also got the boiler. The Boiler Bar is nestled in the heart of the venue, where multiple horror zones converge, offering guests a perfect vantage point for those seeking momentary respite while remaining immersed in the action, all while enjoying craft cocktails underneath a monstrous flaming machine.
Okay, so this is the boiler bar is what they showed in the concept art because that's like
Yeah.
the cool bar we saw. And we've talked about that before, how cool that looked. Like it looked, the art at least looked incredible. And if all the bars were like that, it would be amazing. But this is almost telling me that the boiler bar is like the bar, like the one that's the most important, and the one that's going to
Yeah.
have the most pizzazz to it. I was kind of hoping every bar would look as cool as this concept art did, and it still could be, but the way it's reading right now is like this is the bar that they're going to spend the most money on in terms of like its aesthetic and the theming and stuff.
Yeah, I do hope though. I don't know if this is even possible, like depending on what they think like attendance is going to be. I want like hidden bars and like make me want to explore the area and not just be like when you go to an escape room and everybody's hanging out in like the area with the couches.
Mhm.
Like I don't want that. Like I guess like a lobby is a better way to describe it, but like specifically, that's what I'm imagining is like just a really heavily themed like lobby of an escape room, which is not what it's going to
Yeah.
be at all. It's universal. Like they're going to give us like immersive experiences as they love to keep using. But like I I love that this is the boiler bar and that's what that is, but I also want like dead storage or something else to be like make me want to go over there. Make me want to find other things so I'm not just stuck in the center room. And it also makes me want to come back because what if I miss something, like a speakeasy or something, you know?
Yeah. I agree. And I think having hidden details about the story of the whole structure. Like I think Ted Sorge is sort of implying, with all the forgotten set pieces and relics, and like maybe the
Mhm.
relics are, helped. Like I think they said before there were relics that helped shape what the place even is now. So that's gonna be cool to like sort of find the story as you're going through. But yeah, it'd be so cool if there were like hidden areas, like a scare actor's like almost was like, "Hey, follow me," and you followed into like a little area and it did like a mini show or like a mini story. Like this is a place, Vegas and attendance, especially when the when it's not haunt season, that you could do that type of stuff and you won't have to worry. Especially when it's not like crazy in the middle of haunt season.
Yeah, and maybe that's something that they'll do. I don't know. That's just a want. And like we only have 2 descriptions so far of like an area and a bar. So
Yeah. Is it a horror zone or a themed area? Because they said both. I don't know what the actual answer is.
I feel like they are synonymous with this
Yeah.
team.
Yeah. Not a scare zone. Not a but a themed area or horror zone. Whatever. They're scare zones,
Whatever.
kinda. They're basically scare zones.
It's giving the same energy of I don't remember what we were talking about. We asked your opinion, you went bad.
I've
Just
done that a
bad.
lot this year, actually, so it could have
That
been
is kind of your
multiple
default.
things.
Yeah, no, I'm living for it. Welcome to the Unhinged podcast episode.
Exactly.
You don't get a lot of Goglithan episodes, but when you do, I hope they hit different. Or Duff's gonna hit us.
Yeah, exactly. He's gonna get back from his cruise. I'm like, hi, Duff, and then we just get sucker punched. Pow.
The
Like, yeah,
next
we
time we
deserve
see
that.
him,
We get it.
because he'll listen to this. I listen to the episodes I'm not on because I don't know what you guys say. I want to know.
Mm-hmm.
So
Same.
I can't wait for him to hear him. Honestly, let's just not say anything.
Exactly. We'll just say hi and see what happens. See what the next movie makes is.
All right. Speaking of moves, where are we moving to? Unless we have
Oh,
more to say about Horror Unleashed. That's a lot
nah,
for us.
I'm good. I'm all right. Well, we'll talk about it later, maybe if there's an announcement that has actual information like this one did. But yeah, we're gonna move over to California and talk about HHN Hollywood, where we don't have any updates for Kevin this week. Just honestly, Kevin, he's a part of our team, but this is just a hobby for him, and so he wasn't able to go out this week, which is
Yeah.
totally okay. But we do have an update from the Entertainment Connect, or the ENT Connect on Twitter, where they were able to take a picture of the Jurassic World house facade that is currently rumored to be WWE. Though some people on Twitter are starting to think otherwise, even though I know that's not our opinion. Jess, could you sort of explain, in your eyes, like what this facade that we can see right now, kind of, because it's a weird angle. We can always see this place from a weird angle. But what it kind of looks like to you and what you think it could be, and maybe how it could be related to the rumored WWE house?
Of course. I'll talk about WWE any day of the week. So right now all we can see is it's still like generally house shaped, I would say, with like an A-frame roof. But now there's like thatching on the roof
Hmm.
or like palm front, like whatever you want to call it. Like it is very specific. And I've seen people say, oh no, this means it's not WWE now. But let me educate y'all on something that I'm probably wrong on because I'm always wrong on my details apparently. But so Bray Wyatt, the Fiend, when he started, I think we covered this in the episode. He was like a cult leader, and it was like in the swamp.
Hmm.
And my theory on this is that there was like a shack house thing that the Wyatts or the Wyatt family they lived in, quote unquote, in the swamp, and it was very much this, and it got burned down. So we don't have a lot of pictures of it, but we have like vignettes of it in the background. And it's like very much, it's like that slanted roof with the thatching. And he used to sit in there in his rocking chair, and Eric Rowan and Luke Harper would be behind him. And it just looks to me almost exactly like that. Like we're starting possibly with how Bray Wyatt started with that
Hmm.
whole story leading into the Fiend, because that's what he kind of like killed that character off to become the Fiend later. So for me, this would make sense if it is the Wyatt Six. In Hollywood, would be entering where Bray's like journey started when he came up on the main roster,
That
and then
would
we'd go
be
in.
incredible.
Yeah.
Because once again, people like I said, the best thing that this facade can do, when, Kevin had a theory that was Firefly Funhouse, which it almost certainly is not now. It's just,
Yeah.
yeah. To be fair, his theory was very like, it wasn't really a theory that we really like covered as like Kevin theory. It's more just like an idea he had based on this weird angle that you can see from this facade. That's just, you can't really see this thing. Until now that there's actually like visible stuff on it, but you can't really tell from the way it's shaped on exactly what it was,
Mm-hmm.
because of the angle. So we're not calling it like a like a strike on Kevin's scoreboard, so to speak. But in terms of like the imaginary the
The fake,
imaginary beef you and
the wrestling beef
yeah,
that we have.
exactly. You won the
I
battle. I
won.
think at least it's definitely not Firefly Funhouse. There's no way at this
Yeah.
point.
I know that I've said a lot of theories, and I do think that it is an unfair advantage for me because I had so many theories of what it could be, but I was adamant that it was not the Firefly Funhouse from day one, and I think that that's the win for me. But
Exactly.
I've said like multiple things, and I said it could have been the Firefly Funhouse. I just didn't see it happening. But I did say the swamp house.
Yep. There we go. There we
There's
go.
also a House of Horrors match, but that's a different house, which it also could kind of be because that's an A-frame roof, but that did not have a thatched roof. The swamp did.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we're starting in Florida, which is even crazier in Hollywood for me.
That would be wild. And imagine we don't start there in Orlando. Like imagine it's just
Wow.
Hollywood. We start in Florida.
That's crazy. We've taken a portal to the other event.
Oh
Here
my
we are. There's
goodness.
no black walls in that house.
There's none because it's Florida. John Murdy has to make sure that he's yeah, that'd be
I told you I'm
crazy.
fighting him this year if he doesn't do this well.
It's true. Though
I
I
don't
will
care about
say that
Jason. I care about this.
the start seems, at least that we think that is the start, seems interesting. Seems like a good take.
Promising. Yeah.
Very promising.
I'm not like overwhelmingly disappointed if that's what it is.
Right. It could
But
have
also
just
I
been
could
a
be wrong.
flat, but it's not.
It could be. There is dimension, there is shape, it is a form. It doesn't look like it's just going to be like a decal, which no hate on decals. I love the way we did them in the old parade or the new parade building over here. But
Hmm.
Hollywood. But yeah, I could be wrong. Someone will tell me I'm wrong. I know they will. But I sent Jonathan a really cool Lego set of what I thought it was.
You did it's honestly makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. And something I do want to bring up because I mentioned this before. A lot of people are saying this has to be Creature, because they're like, this can't be WWE now. It has to be something else, like Creature. No, like
Interesting.
like it's a good. I get it because like you wouldn't see this, and if you had no history of WWE or knowing anything about Bray Wyatt's story or anything regarding that, you'd be like, "Oh, this can't be WWE now. What is that?" And I,
Hmm.
I get, I get it. Like, it's honestly, it makes sense, and I see the thought process. But first of all, Murdy has said he can't do Creature right now because he just doesn't have the money or the time to do it. Like, there's just a lot of factors that he keeps saying he can't do Creature, and WWE's been a rumor for so long, guys. We're in June. Like
Yeah.
it's happening. Like it's a rumor still, but when something sticks this long in the rumor mill for months and months and months, it is extremely rare unless something pulls out for it to not be that. When it's been here since I don't know how long now. Like it popped up in, it felt like February or January.
Yeah, I
It
think
was
it was
so early.
January. And then it kind of fizzled out for like a month. We stopped talking about it. Maybe like 2 months. And then in like April, because that's when my birthday party was.
Hmm.
It was like all steam ahead. This is a full rumor again. So
Yeah.
did they
So
have Creature in their Monsters mashup in
I don't
Hollywood?
think they did.
I don't think so either. So like I understand like we all want Creature. Everybody wants Creature at the event. I agree on that. It's just that'd be out of left field. And we've had crazy things come out of left field before, but
It's true.
I don't know.
Hellblock came out of left field. It's like, get ready for Hellblock. Uh-oh. Um, but yeah, that's it for Hollywood construction. I don't think we have anything else to say about it. I think we're good to move on, right, Jess?
And move on we will because we're moving on to Murdy tweets. Murdy tweets.
Let's go.
Woo! That see, we can do a segue.
We
Um,
can. That's the
so
power of Goglathan.
Goglathan, let's go. There will be an actor in the Jason Universe house facade. Kevin was right. I love that.
I had to because it was funny because I saw a post. I really don't remember from who, but someone said, "Oh, I spotted a door. There has to be an actor here," and John Murdy confirmed it. And like secretly, I was like, "Kevin said that the minute he saw the facade." Like right
Mhm.
away, he was like, "That's a door an actor will go through because I see a door." And then it's like, yeah, like it was technically news because John Murdy confirmed it, but I'm like, yeah, we knew because there's a door there. An actor's gonna pop out through there. Like it makes sense. Um, but yeah, it is nice to have confirmation from the man himself.
Not the man.
The man, Murdy.
Ugh.
Murdy man.
Jesus.
Um and something else interesting that I think is we kind of all expected, but it's finally been like said now, is that Jason Universe, according to Murdy, at least his version, he doesn't speak for Orlando's coast most of the time. But Jason Universe is similar to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre house last year, which was the Legacy of Leatherface. It's an original approach, but tons of references to the films.
Good. As it should
So,
be.
Jason fan fiction. No.
Oh. Don't get me started on that. Wow. No.
Kind of feels like a fan fiction of like Jason, you'll see Jason in the summer camp and or Diamond Pond or something like that. That
There
kind
we
of
go.
sounds like a fan fiction a little bit.
Yeah, it's like an unlicensed book or something. Like, that's pretty much what this is. I mean, it's licensed though, but it's good to have a confirmation. Like I said, I'm not worried about Murdy doing a slasher.
Yeah. If anything, like I don't. I've made it adamant that I do not like Michael Myers. I don't like Michael Myers houses. Halloween houses are just not my thing. But for some reason on Hollywood's coast, they hit every single time, and it's mostly because the actors just when they're that character, I feel like they just get like a sort of energy that Orlando doesn't have because technically Myers isn't supposed to run at you and like try to lash at you because he's like a quiet stalking killer, but Hollywood doesn't care and they just scare you regardless and find different ways to scare you and are intense. And so that's why I have a lot of hope in Hollywood's version. I don't know how Jason is like as a character, but regardless of even if he is intense and like that type of stuff, I feel like Hollywood's will be more intense than Orlando just because the actors there usually are given more freedom to just play around, especially when it comes to famous like horror icons such as Jason.
Yeah. I'm very excited to see Hollywood's take on Jason.
Yeah. Absolutely. Would you say you're more excited for Hollywood's and Orlando's, or where would you put that?
I haven't started considering my hype like lists yet, even though I
Hmm.
know like we pretty much know what's coming to each coast, but like I'm I don't know because I think I'm actually excited to see how they use Fast and Furious this year in Orlando for Jason.
Hmm.
So I think I'm still more excited for ours, but I'm excited not it's not much less than ours, I think, for Hollywood.
Yeah. No, I
I'm
can
more
see
worried
that.
for a lot of their houses in Hollywood.
I think Orlando's has a way it can fall, but then it also a way that it can like be incredibly great. Like
Yeah,
there's really no middle ground for me. Like it's either gonna be the best house ever or just one of the lower ones. I think Hollywood's is gonna be a solid middle. Like no matter what is gonna hit the middle for me and be like a good house that will we enjoyed at Hollywood.
that's fair.
So I can see how you can be more excited for Orlando because I think that has a higher chance, not a higher chance, but like a chance of being something truly like, great. One of the greater IP houses if they can do it the way that we want them to.
Yeah, it could be special and like I obviously didn't get to see like the first Halloween house. Like not the first, but like the one what year was that?
Was it 24?
Yeah, I think so. Whatever, like the one that everybody like fawns over
Mm-hmm.
still. And I know the one in 30, 31, 31 was good. It was pretty good. But like that one, like I feel like because we haven't had Jason in such a long time, especially by himself, like this, not to hype it up too much, has the potential to possibly be something like that if they use the space correctly.
Yep.
So I
Eh,
hope that's what it is. And I hope that this is like the only time we use that space like that. Like this is special.
I agree. And something that was everyone said unanimously of why 24's Halloween was better than 31's is that 31 took place in a soundstage and had a lot of
Mhm.
space, and therefore it wasn't scary. Like some people, it was like some people can get scared, obviously, but like compared to 24's, he was not getting nearly as close as he
Mhm.
was in the Sprungs. But Fast and Furious, that's a tight space and
Yeah.
not a space that you're really making elaborate sets. So if your goal is to have Jason be scary in your face, jumping at you, lunging at you, like that, that is a place you can do it. And I'm honestly remembering now, Blumhouse Volume 3 with the freaky portion. I didn't really like that portion. I've said it before, but I think the butcher in the first couple rooms, when he popped out, it was intimidating and he scared the shit out of me. Like those are some of my favorite memories of that house. And I'm just realizing the butcher is just a parody of Jason slash
Yep.
Michael Myers, but mostly Jason because it's just what he's wearing. It looks like Jason.
Exactly.
Um, and that could, I mean, if it's the scares are like those couple, but through the entire house, oh boy, that can be an experience.
That's what I'm expecting almost, and because that's also what people talk about. When last time Jason was here in 2007 by himself, yeah,
Hmm.
he was in the Jaws queue. So like you were on the water, so like waiting in the queue was fun, and like it was intense because those were tent houses. Like it just, yeah. I just hope that I think that's what they're trying to maybe get to again with this. It feels like
I think so. Make it like
we just
almost a
talked a lot
classic
about
house.
Orlando.
We did. We did.
Yeah. We went from Murdy tweets to just let's just fawn about Orlando for
Well, guess what? That's a perfect transition because now we're going to talk about HHN Orlando.
Oh, we got
Um,
a construction update, Jonathan.
wait. So you're talking about the overhead pictures of Fast and Furious, right? Because that's the only construction updates we can get, right?
No, no, no. No, sir. No. All of the lights.
Wait, the lights. So you're telling me it's now because I never count Fast and Furious because it's always goes up so early. But you're telling me now that it is officially construction season for HHN Orlando.
I'm telling you, there's a TikTok up on our page, which that
Whoa.
normally means that's construction season.
That's how you know if a TikTok comes up on the HHN365 page. That officially confirms that it's construction season.
Correct. I when I started filming it, I was like, "Oh my god, I'm rusty. Whew, how do I do this again?" But yeah, we got not much, but we got lighting trusses in multiple locations around the park.
Hmm. I know some of the notable ones were right where Nightmare Fuel sign used to be. And
Mhm.
there's a little truss there that holds up the sign. There's one in the exact same spot, which is crazy. We haven't mentioned this in the podcast before, but like the Fuel Girls have literally said Nightmare Fuel is coming back in many different ways, but they keep saying
Mhm.
it on social media. They won't shut up about it. So like, get ready. And that also that trust is giving it away too. Get ready for Nightmare Fuel because they won't stop talking about it on Facebook.
I mean, they're excited. That is a big gig for like an act like that. Like they get a 2-month run where they're like the main act.
Hmm. No, it's
That's
a
pretty
huge
cool.
gig. No, I have no problems with them talking about it. I just find it funny from an NDA
Yeah.
standpoint. But like, no, like they deserve it because every time Nightmare Fuel happens, it might not be my favorite thing in the world, but everyone in that crowd, they are saying it's the best thing ever. Like they're loving it. It always sells out
Mhm.
or fills up every seat every single night, every
It
single
sells out.
showing.
No, I like that. It
It
sells
sells
out.
out. It sells out. Every
Correct.
Horror Nights ticket is bought for Nightmare Fuel specifically.
Correct. Did you see what's next to the Nightmare Fuel sign though? Right
Oh, I
now,
did
or the
not.
fuel the house portal trusses are up for the new tents.
Oh, yes.
That's what those are, just to the right of where like Nightmare Fuel is. Those are
So
up.
looks like we're gonna be entering the same way, which makes sense because how the hell else will we get there? But it looks
Right.
like, that's confirmation we're gonna be entering through that gate, which of course we are. But that's
Ooh.
good to know.
Hey, it's nice I mean, it's different than like any other house portal, but it is fun to see like, well, house portals are popping up already in June,
It's true.
technically.
It's
Not to be that person, but they
it's,
are.
it's technically the house portal inside of the park that in not the backstage areas that we can see. So yeah, we
Yeah.
can technically call that a kind of a house portal.
Yeah, and also we don't film backstage, so
Nope.
I did not film anything, but The old tents, what is that, tent 1 and 2,
Mhm.
they had big trucks unloading stuff.
Yeah, I think we're gonna start seeing facades from overhead from bioreconstruct that we can't talk about because that's legal.
Yep.
Um, pretty soon that we'll start having facades shortly. So fingers crossed we start getting some ideas of what's going in those sprung tents.
And something I did promise to talk about that I didn't warn you about,
Uh oh.
it's been discussed before, but the bathrooms over by Nightmare Fuel are under construction right now.
Okay.
So I think that that's really great because I think that those bathrooms are so confusing for people because the women can enter on 2 sides and the men can't. So I
Oh
don't know
yeah.
if they're rectifying that, but they are under refurb right now, which is nice right before haunt season.
I hated that bathroom because every time it's like super dark at Halloween Horror Nights, and and whatever, like I always went on the wrong side, like because
Yeah.
I the side that didn't have the mail, and I'm like, God damn it, I had to go all the way around, and like it was like, especially when it's late and you're tired and like a little bit tipsy, and you're not
Mhm.
thinking, you're just like, what the hell's going on? Why does one side have?
It's so confusing.
It's very weird.
And
So
women would, like, leave the wrong side that they came in from, so, like, everybody's always like, "Where's my party? Like, you left me," and we're like, "No, go back through the bathroom, it's shorter." But they're under refurb, so hey, bathroom renovations before HHN are always nice.
absolutely, could not agree more. But as cool as all these construction updates are, and trusses and lighting rigs and everything like that, there is something so interesting that popped up that is going to warrant a whole discussion, Jess.
Mhm.
And that is there is a truss in the exact same spot that the Lagoon Show sign was, Ghoulish's sign was back in HHN 31. The exact same spot. We actually on our Twitter and Instagram we posted a picture of 31s and a picture of the truss now. They are right there, exactly where they were. That had the sign and the show times and stuff like that. So the question becomes, could this mean that the Lagoon Show is returning this year?
Well, I sure hope so, and we know I'm a Lagoon Show hater.
Mhm.
So if I'm saying it should come back, like, we need a people eater. We're losing Rocket in less than 2 months now, right before the event. It's causing massive construction, but we're not gonna get into that. We need something, and a Lagoon Show is perfect, and they have could drones be involved now, maybe?
I hope so, because you can't use pyro during
No,
these types of events, these types of shows. But drones, that's something you could do without causing any problems.
and they spent all that money to have these drones, so
Oh, and we
I
should
feel like they
mention
should.
the drones are back.
Oh,
They
are
were
they?
gone from the show for the daytime lagoon or the nighttime normal lagoon show for months,
Hmm,
and they just returned like a couple days ago.
nice. I don't know if I feel like I talked about it on here, my fear of drones last year. I want them to be in the show. I think it'd be really cool, but then that whole accident happened and my point was proven.
Yeah, I like to think that after that accident happened, they took the months off to make
Mhm.
sure that couldn't happen again. So that and it didn't happen by Universal, by the way.
No,
It
no,
wasn't
no,
like
no.
them. It was another place. But still, I like to think that they fix the drones. So if something like that happened, there's you know less likely of a chance.
Yeah, there's a failsafe. They're not gonna have this technology in a theme park, and I know that. I never saw is it Cinesational? Is that what
Yeah,
it is?
sensational.
I haven't seen it yet. I want to see it. It's on my goals for this summer. So maybe I'll turn a different leaf after I see it. But I would just like to see it included in the Horror Nights one because I think that that's cool.
I agree. And I agree. Yeah, and now that, I guess it's sort of a rumor that it might be coming back now that this trust popped up. It's worth seeing how it's used in the daytime to compare if maybe you want it in nighttime or ways you think they could be implemented and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's true. I just hope it's back. I feel like this is fully like a rumor now because of this sign. Like I believe it because there's not normally a trust there for no reason.
No, it's only up for the Lagoon show because it's in a random spot because it's just a sign that lets people know, hey, go in this area because there's something here. If there wasn't a sign,
Mhm.
if there wasn't a trust there, no one would go. There'd be no reason for people to like be pulled into that area.
And it's too far away to be for anything possibly happening in front of Mel's with that whole rumor still
Yep.
going around.
Yep. Way too far away for that.
But yeah, that's
So
exciting.
yeah, I mean, it's something that we wanted. When it was pulled off the HNN speculation map, I was like, I don't know if I believe it yet, because Rip by Rocket's closing and they need something. The show was fully functional. The reason it didn't happen last year, at least our thoughts on it, was that the show just like literally just came out and was open like a couple months prior to HHN. They did not have a lot of time to make a whole Halloween Horror Night show, and they had to make sure the original show worked. It was functional, and the investment was good on that show. But now that the show has been running for however long now, I don't think there's any reason not to have it at Halloween Horror Nights unless Ghoulish scared them and they went, well, we don't want to invest in something if a hurricane's going to come and destroy it. But I don't know. I think it's happening. Like with this trust, it's almost confirmation for me. I'm not going to say it's confirmed, but there's never just a trust there for no reason.
Yeah, I wonder what the name's going to be because we had Nightmare Fuel, and Ghoulish.
Oh,
Not Nightmare Fuel. Marathon of Mayhem, whatever,
Carnage
and
Factory
Ghoulish.
and
Yeah,
Ghoulish.
that's what I
Um,
memt.
this year it's going to be called Marathon of Mayhem. Welcome back or something. I don't know.
Let's get Ghoulie,
Honestly,
baby.
oh God.
You're
Have that be
welcome.
the sub perfect. Marathon of Mayhem, Let's Get Ghoulie Baby. That's the subtitle. Perfect show. But honestly, with the IPs that are rumored this year, and the ones that have been announced, they are so heavily like rooted in music that as much as I loved Ghoulish being a completely original show, that had like one IP song, one IP representation basically, um, and as cool as that was, I felt like that worked for that year because the IPs didn't lend themselves to a show like that. It was like Halloween, Blumhouse. It didn't really work. But with the IPs this year, I think you could pull a classic Marathon of Mayhem style show again, featuring every single one or at least a good chunk of them.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm very excited to see what it could possibly be.
Yeah, because you got the Living Tombstone song that everyone memes about from FNAF. You got the Ice Nine Kills song from Terrifier. Fallout has a bunch of different songs you can pull from.
Hmm.
Just tons, whichever ones you wanted. WWE, does it have a specific like
They
thing
could
that would
do
work?
the Wyatt's like theme song, which is like it's just one piano note, but they do have like an entrance song. But they also could do he's got the whole world in his hands because
Oh
that was
yeah,
also a song that Bray used.
that could be cool.
So there are a couple things that they could do. It's just I don't know about the licensing on. I don't know. I don't know. Well, WWE would give the licensing for like the intro song. It's the other song. I don't know. There are
Yeah,
options though, and like all wrestlers have theme songs.
yeah, it's true. So yeah, I think almost every IP has a way to make it work in the show, like a very easy way. So I think they might, if there is a Lagoon show, they're gonna go that route again, especially with Aiello being back on board and knowing he sort of spearheaded the original Marathon of Mayhem.
Hmm.
But with that said, we had a lot of talk with the just construction and stuff like that. Is it time for the meat of the podcast, Jess?
Actually, I think we should end the episode and wait for
Oh,
Duff on that.
you're right. All right, bye everyone.
Bye. We'll see you in the streets. No, I think we should.
Let's do it. Let us discuss the panel that just was held at Spooky Empire for HHN Orlando, that featured a lot of creatives from the team. Some of the most notable ones being Michael Aiello, Laura Sauls, Ramon was there. I know there were a lot of others. I don't have a list of everyone, but there were so many people from so many different facets of the event and merchandise and tribute stores and stuff. And they were there to talk about, honestly, I thought the topic was gonna be tribute stores, and I guess it kinda was, but I didn't hear much about that on social media. To be clear, we weren't there. Um, None of us were able to go this year, unfortunately, just, life happens and we weren't able to make it happen.
Hmm.
But in terms of all we know is what was told on social media, and I haven't seen anyone really talk about what I thought was gonna be the main theme of the panel besides, like, 1 or 2 tweets.
Yeah, I didn't see anything about anything except like the one thing that they said about the tribute store.
Yeah.
But I also feel like Maybe at this point, because we've kind of set a precedent over the last 2 years, we just call it the Halloween Horror Nights panel, and we don't
Hmm.
really need, like, a subcategory or sub-discussion, like, because it's kind of following the same format now for the last, like, 4 years. Just add
Yeah,
a house announcement for the last 2.
exactly. So yeah, I think you're right. I think that's sort of the route they went to here. But we got a lot of stuff, like an insane amount of stuff. And yes, there was a house announcement in this panel, and that we will talk about near the end. But there's a lot of other information too that is important to the event itself, specifically Orlando's. The first being the overall theme has been revealed. They made it clear this is a overall theme of the event. It's not just like an aesthetic. This is a theme, and they said the theme is that Horror Nights will be sort of be taking place in a conservatory, specifically the conservatory. And when they talk about the conservatory, they say in terms of aesthetic, gothic textures, vines, stained glass, gargoyles, stuff like that, and that the park will be incredibly immersive. And they made sure to state this that they're really focusing on immersion this year, with the overall theme of the event, which is the conservatory, carrying into all the zones, including the lighting, the music, sort of everything that encompasses an event theme and can make an event feel like something is going to be included in that. And I know we were sort of already speculating this because of the a beginning of every announcement video, also the merch and the merch display and everything like that. But now that it's officially confirmed, how are you feeling about this, Jess?
Oh, I feel like nobody even needs to hear me talk because I talk about it all the time. This is, like, exactly my favorite thing in the entire world. It's like gothic, cemetery, conservatory, whatever you wanna call it, like, stained glass, decrepit, vines, even the colors that they're using this year, that, like, teal, the green with, like, a little bit of brown and red, like, oh my god. It's like they took Graveyard Games and, like, expanded upon it for me. And I know that they mention other houses later on that were inspiration, but, like, Graveyard Games is my favorite house of all times, and that, like, the color story and the vibe feel like that's what we're gonna get this year.
Yeah, I completely agree. And not only do I like the overall theme, because I mean this theme is synonymous with Halloween, which is
Yeah.
great. So it's not we're not even taking it out of a realm of Halloween. Like it's still very much rooted in horror, rooted in scariness and ghosts and stuff like that. But also I really love that they emphasized how the music and the lighting and everything will be tied into one thing because I know they heard everyone shout how last year was an incohesive mess. Um, there were multiple different themes. Some of the zones were just random, didn't fit into anything. There were only two zones that fit into the overall theme. One zone not even being a zone. The tribute store didn't match the merch, didn't match the icons, didn't match the food booths, didn't match anything. It was a just a glob of things just shoved together.
Mhm.
And I think they realize that because that's why they're saying to us now, and my theory and why I think they're saying the theme is one thing, and that one thing is going to encompass everything. Um, so it's why it's important to say your feelings on certain events because I think they heard the critiques and they want to fix that issue.
Fill out your surveys, people. Even if you don't want to stop with the people on the way out, when you get the survey in your email, I know you feel like they don't listen. It might take a couple years, but, like, the buffet on the Six House Unmasking tour is a great example. It's been like 5 years of these issues of, like, being able to get food, and now they're offering food. They're listening. We want immersion. We want the event to, like, match and, like, go together. And, like, yeah, sometimes it's fun to have zones that don't go together, but when you have that too often, then you kind of miss, like, the bread and butter of art and design. And I feel like they're giving it to us, at least with these descriptions.
Exactly. This is great news, and honestly, one of the best things I can hear, um, from the creatives just talking about this event. So this sort of line, this whole thing they said, immediately got me like 10 times more hyped because I think a event with a cohesive theme that matches everything is always up my alley. We're talking 29 with the whole theme
Mhm.
being 80s. We're talking 31 with the whole theme being Halloween. They when they can do that and successfully pull it off, they always end up, even if some of the houses fall flat, even if some of the zones fall flat, you always look back on the year and you can remember what it felt like. And I think this will be one of those times.
Yeah, and I can't get this one thought out of my head. I want to say it.
Yeah.
The stained glass and like the lighting being everywhere. I can just imagine how many cool like gobo lights we're going to have pointing on the buildings, on the floor, like
Oh yeah.
vines and stained glass. Like there are really cool like gobos they can use that look like stained glass or even look like sun coming through stained glass.
Oh
Like
wow.
there are really cool lighting elements out there that I know they're going to use. I can just like see it in the park and I'm so excited. Oh my god. This is like this is taking like 31s where we're all like this was made for us. This was made for us, y'all.
It's gonna be so pretty. And it was funny because I'm talking to people now who've never gone and just trying to, find ways to convince them to go to Halloween Hornets because I want them to. And I'm just like, in general, if you like theme parks, seeing the park at night is something that you don't usually get to do often, and you get to do it all the time at HHN. But especially with this lighting and the way they can make it work and look, and it's just gonna be so pretty. Which is weird to say about horror, because a lot of it's meant to disgust you or whatever. But no, I think this event's going to be beautiful in a interesting type of way.
And they do it so well at Horror Nights, like especially in Orlando. They know how to make hauntingly beautiful things.
Exactly. But you know what else they're able to make hauntingly beautiful?
Oh, not in the last couple. No, okay, sorry. Tell me, Jonathan.
Oh my goodness, you ruined my segue,
No,
Jess.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Didn't mean to throw shade. It wasn't at you. I
The
promise.
thing is, like, you're not wrong.
I
But the
know.
tribute store, they confirmed it is returning. Breaking news: the tribute
Wow.
store is coming back.
I'm gonna make a
Wow.
TikTok about the tribute store. I'll be right back, Jonathan.
They want to sell merchandise and have people buy merchandise at Halloween Horror Nights. That's crazy. But it is returning. But what is interesting is that they made sure to say it is celebrating its 10-year anniversary. Now, I have two thoughts on this. One, that's awesome, right? That
Mhm.
that's really really cool. And that's exciting news. I really hope, even though it's celebrating its anniversary, this doesn't become let's go to the past and look at all the previous tribute stores. I want this to be themed to the conservatory. I don't want it to just be a mishmash of all the other tribute stores, which I mean, like in general, that's cool. Like that's a fun idea, but I don't want them to stray away from the theme because that was a problem with last year's tribute store. Strayed away from the theme and then everything. Like I just want everything to match. And I think a conservatory sort of environment in the tribute store is kind of perfect. And I even did a room like that before in
Mhm.
30, and it was great. So I would like for them to expand on that and don't just do uh, remember the other tribute stores. I remember them; they were really good. I don't need that. But yeah, that's those are sort of my thoughts on that.
Yeah, they can honor the past tribute stores like in the conservatory, but don't make it about
Yeah,
it. Like maybe they're like the cat facade is trapped in the conservatory, but like even then, make it little. I don't want the whole thing on a wall again. It
agreed.
was fun when they did it last time, but
Yeah, I completely agree. I'm assuming we don't have anything else to say about this breaking news.
no, but we do have breaking news from Mike Aiello.
Oh my goodness, what is it, Jess?
He said Mike Aiello teased that if Nightmare Fuel came back, it might have a different creative look. He almost confirmed it, but noted that he caught himself in that. So
Yeah.
we said it before. Oh my god, why is it so? Fuel girls have been posting about it and like hinting the nightmares are returning and like things like that. So I get it. He probably can't confirm it yet. There's probably still contracts being worked out and whatnot. But what does the creative look? Does that just mean a different setting? Is it not a circus now? Like,
I think he implied almost like a different creative director. Like
oh,
he said, like some. I might be wrong on this because I didn't focus too much on the Nightmare Fuel part. But he said there was a creative director that's run sort of all the other shows. But he sort of implied
mm,
there's be a new creative look in the new ones, almost like it's gonna be a new person running it.
okay. That makes me more excited because like as fun as the gags are, they were just slightly different, and I wanted a whole new show. I think it's really
Hmm.
cool, and I want to see it this year.
No, I agree because I think the concept of pyro and dancing and stuff like is really fun, but it always felt nearly the same. The last year's was the most different, but still kind of felt the same. But I think it's a great opportunity to sort of refresh itself because as I'm gonna say as sold out as this event, as the show is every year. I'm gonna keep using that phrase even though it makes no sense. Um, I think at some point people are gonna wake up and go, "It's the same shit."
Yeah.
Like it's good, it's great. Like not saying that is like a bad thing. It's like the performers and everything are super talented, but it's the same basically. There's gonna be one day that people go, "I'm tired of it," and so I think it's a good idea to sort of shake things up creatively.
Yeah. There's a way to do it, and I think that they can do it.
I think so too. Um, Now another thing that was interesting, we're talking about things that are kind of confirmed, kind of not, sort of in that gray area. Um, we've talked about before how Matt Flood on Orlando's coast and John Murdy on Hollywood's coast confirmed that Five Nights at Freddy's is a house coming to the event this year. They said on an article, an interview, and it was confirmed. Um, Yet, Iola was trying to dance around that and was like, well, we can't say what capacity Five Nights at Freddy's is going to be at the event because it wasn't announced, but they will be there and it will be cool and it will take inspiration from the franchise. And he said, the one thing I'll say is that the characters will look identical to how they appear in the Blumhouse film, which we also kind of knew because we know Jim Henson. Jordy said Jim Henson. They were working with the Jim Henson Company to make the costumes from the film because they worked with the film, and so it makes sense why that would happen. But that brings up the question: is it like, can he not say it's a house, but Murdy and Matt Flood could? Like, well, what's going on here? Like, why were they able to say it was a haunted house in a video, but then Mike Aiello can't say it? Like, do we know what's going on? Were they even allowed to say that on the interview?
Probably not. Let's be real.
Yeah, because they asked the question, and I'm gonna be honest, like they were both sort of like going back and forth and sort of playing with the idea, like starts with an F, and then Matt Flood just went Five Nights at Freddy's, and it was like, so I wonder if Murdy was like sort of just toying with the idea, and then they both kind of went off the rails, and then they just said it. So, and that's why it didn't appear in the article. Like it makes me think more so now that Michael can't say it's a house yet, that they were not supposed to say that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird situation, but also maybe they're doing it just to make people talk about it.
Yeah, it could be just like a joke, just like it's not announced yet, so I can't say it. Stuff like that.
Yeah, I wonder, can they not announce it because they don't have the frame piece yet? Are we waiting on the frame?
We're waiting for Freddy Fazbear or Springtrap. I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be Springtrap. I think he fits better on the frame.
I don't know what I think. I think it's gonna be that bear because that bear is everywhere.
You know what? It's just gonna be Matthew Lillard's face.
That's fine. I will. And it's not Josh Hutchinson. I never fucking remember his last name, dude.
And that's his name. Yeah, I think
It's
that's
one
it.
of them. PETA. PETA Malark. I could tell you that.
Yeah.
All right.
He goes to sleep a lot. The image is just him sleeping on a desk.
That's the whole point. You shouldn't fall asleep, man. Did you not play the fucking games? I really want to talk about the house that was announced, though.
Yes, let's do it.
Very, well, I'm gonna read it if that's all right with you, Jonathan.
Yes, I want you to.
Oh, okay. So we got a house announcement at Spooky. It didn't come at the end of the panel, which I was kind of surprised about. I mean, it was the end, but it was like the middle of the panel, technically.
Mm-hmm.
I was not prepared at 5:30. I was like, what do you mean they announced it?
They did like a Q&A after. Like it's usually like Slaughter Cinema was literally the last thing they said, right? Last year.
I was kind of shocked. But so the house, it's our first original for Orlando, and it is El Artista, a Spanish haunting. So that's going to be our little art icon on the spec map.
Ooh.
Yeah. I did have the house that is the house description, right? Yeah. In 19th century Spain, a tortured artist moves into an isolated country manor for inspiration, but the art comes alive and possesses him.
Wait a minute. Okay, hold on. We're not there yet. I was gonna say something cheeky, but we're not there yet. We'll be there right after the second line.
Okay. So we did learn about the artist, and the people at Spooky actually got to see him with their own eyes. His name is Sergio Navarro, and as I said, he was there at Spooky, and he had his desk, and he was writing or drawing or
Probably
he
drawing.
he was arting.
He was doing art. He was
Yeah,
he was participating in the act of art.
yeah, he was doing his thing.
Exactly.
That's what we could call it. But Sergio Navarro,
Yeah, now I can bring it up.
yeah.
But that's not the Killustrator.
I'm glad you said it because I'm pretty sure I pissed people off today on Twitter. On my own account. I did not do it on 365. But it's just I was just scrolling along today and Facebook was yelling at everybody that it was the Killustrator. Twitter was yelling at everybody that it was the Killustrator. You know who wasn't yelling? TikTok. TikTok, nobody even knew who the Killustrator was.
That's
I
fair.
like TikTok. It's a safe space.
They don't know. They're just like, I like Halloween Horror Nights. It's spooky. It's like, you're right, TikTok. It is spooky.
No, they just go, Five Nights? Five Nights, not enough. Where's Terrifier? And I'm like, oh my God, I'm just trying to talk about the Artista. But yeah, no, not the Killustrator. It's almost like Orlando wanted to do their own story about an artist.
What they always do. Wait. You're telling me there could be multiple stories about an artist? There's
Yeah.
not just the one. Like after one coast makes a story about an artist, like, all right, that's it. Everyone do the same thing. Let's go.
I think the Killustrator is really cool. I just don't see that like I don't know. I was never there on that train.
No. And all the rumors from Legacy said a lot of it, a lot of other insiders said a lot of it, were that this person was not an evil person and they
Yeah.
were a victim. And icons are really, besides like there's one rare case with the usher, they're usually not victims. And even then, like that's a rare case in a weird scenario. But no, it never seemed like I was always on the no icon train, especially after last year's icons. I really
Yeah.
think they're ready to move on from that. And we'll get more into that discussion later. About, like Killustrator and this and that, how he's not that, but yeah, Sergio Navarro.
Hey, I love that we're getting an original story that has nothing to do with Monstros, but it still has like a Spanish like influence on it. And we're going to be in Spain. Like that's cool.
Yeah, it's not Monstros 2. Thank goodness.
I did see somebody say that they're glad that the Hollywood influence is still in Orlando, and I was like, did they not realize that Florida has a huge Hispanic culture too?
No, it's all invented by Murdy. John Murdy
Yeah,
makes
yeah,
everything.
the white man that lives in Ireland.
Exactly.
No, I thought that was funny. I was like, I get what you're saying. If you're out in Hollywood, you would probably have no idea, but like, it's huge over here. I'm surprised we haven't tapped into it more often. Let's be
Same.
real. This is like we need this, and I'm really happy that they're going this route with an original and the first original that they announced at a panel.
Mm-hmm.
Big deal.
Yeah, and that wasn't it even just the character and just and the creatives talking about it. We got a concept. We not the concept art. We got the house art, which looks beautiful. It's a giant mansion, with like a door with like sort of ghostly beams, sort of like coming out of it, like a red glow. It looks absolutely gorgeous. And Spooky Empire got a video. I don't know if it's ever going to be released to the public. It probably won't be. If anything, it will be like on the projectors that they have in the event, and they'll just throw it on there
Mm,
because they usually do that. But it told the whole story. How he wanted inspiration for his art, and he knew that this place was like great inspiration. There was a lot of people who died there, and it was just said to be you can feel their presence almost, and he's there and he's painting, but he feels the presence of all the people who died, and in the paintings and everything like that. And at some point, because they sort of torture him for a while, and at some point they just finally break out, and possess him completely, which is really really cool and such an interesting way to do a house, because this is, I mean, essentially in its core a haunted house where you're going in and it's a house spooked by ghosts and people who died long ago, with a fun twist on it, which I think is just going to be amazing. Like, how often is it that we get a haunted house? It honestly doesn't happen that frequently. The last time we got it one was Hill House, I think, in 30, but
Mm-hmm.
that's even kind of different because that's an IP. But in terms of like original haunted house, it's been a while.
Dead end, I would say. Well, so it depends on like how you kind of look at that, but I would say dead end.
Hmm.
But I know like you could argue that I know like Hive took place in one house that was infested with vampires. It's not haunted, but like an infested house. You know what I mean? Like we have had settings, but not like this is a haunted house in a while.
Hmm.
So this, oh my god, I'm so excited. And the house art, like the key art, I love that it looks like he made it. Like this is his painting.
Yeah.
It's so cool. It also tells you exactly what you're walking into. This is like what key art should be for an original. The people that don't know what it is, they're gonna walk in and just be like, "Oh, this is a haunted house. We should go."
Yep. And there's obviously more story and there's going to be a lot more to it, but the basics is what every person needs to know, and it tells them right there. They
Yeah.
don't need if they don't need, if they got no more story and just saw that concept art because they went in like crazy drunk and they just didn't catch anything, um, they'd still have the basics and be like, that was a haunted house.
And I hope that this is like a good sign that all the key art's going to be like that because I'm so worried. I know we have no confirmation of this, but like going to the park and seeing the construction walls over by like Rocket and Fallon, like they need key art that's going to pull people into these houses because it's going to be competing. If the location on the spec map is true, it's going to
Hmm.
be competing with like massive IPs back there, potentially all entering in the same area.
Exactly, because I mean that's the big theory. Because where else are you going to enter? There's a big construction wall right where you
Yeah.
usually enter it, so more houses are going to have to be closer together than they usually are in terms of the portals. And yeah, because no, everyone's going to see. Let's say Five Nights at Freddy's. Everyone's going to that house. They're going to see this haunted house.
Terrifier. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be, oh, well, why would I go in that? Well, that's a haunted house. That looks cool.
Yep. And people love a good haunted house. Honestly, that's a big reason people go to haunt events.
Hmm.
For just the generic, but not. This is not saying this is generic, but just like the thing you expect from Halloween. So haunted house and witches and stuff like that. So if they see a big haunted house picture, they'll be like, I want to experience that. I want to get spooked. I want
Hmm.
to get scared. And that I mean, I think that art will draw people in. I really think it will.
Yeah, I do think that that's like why Knott's is so successful every year too, and why we like it so much because there's always like a haunted house. You're walking into a haunt event. You know what you're getting. So it's nice
Exactly.
to like, we don't need it every year, but it's nice to have something like that for the regular guest.
Yeah. And I wanted to I'm sort of going a little out of order, but we're talking about haunted house and how much this is a haunted house. And they mentioned that it drew inspiration from Dead End and Gothic, and we've sort of mentioned before we're also pretty sure they drew inspiration from a little bit from Graveyard Games. It kind of
Yeah.
just makes sense, because this house is involving ghosts. A lot of ghosts, and that's always exciting because I think ghosts are some of the most unique and interesting things you can put in a haunt. Because in terms of Halloween Horror Nights quality, because Halloween Horror Nights has the money to do effects to make it actually seem like ghosts and not just people in rags. And they mentioned specifically there will be a lot of ghost effects in this house that sort of are inspired by previous houses, but they're up in the ante. And one of them is the easy one, Pepper's Ghost, a super simple one that they usually always do. But also they mentioned ghosts bursting through paintings and pushing through their canvases. So maybe that pushing effect. Something similar is like in Ghostbusters when the terror dog was sort of pushing through the door trying to get out. Maybe something similar to that, but even maybe more amped up. We'll see. And ghosts walking through walls, and that was a big one. They said that was one they really wanted to highlight on. So if they can really push the ghost haunted aspect, not just physical things, but ethereal things, um, that would be incredible.
Yeah, this is just like I didn't get to experience Dead End, but that this is one of our friends, Erin, like one of her favorite houses of all time, and she talks about it all the time to me. It's just giving, like it was so good because of like the effects that they use for the ghosts,
Hmm.
and now we're getting this like in 2025 where technology is even better. But like we're still going to use like a Pepper's ghost effect is like always going to be my favorite because I love Haunted Mansion. Let's be real. So
Who doesn't?
oh my god, I'm so excited for this.
I'm so happy there's a house that we're all gushing over, because there's been a couple houses that we're like, like sort of like, I don't know, we like the idea, but we're kind of cautious. But this one, we're just overall
Mhm.
like, yeah, it's gonna hit. It's gonna hit. There's no way this isn't gonna hit. Um, I really think it's gonna be really, really good. And they also gave some concept art and masks and a little bit of pictures inside of the houses, and inside of the house, even though they were not spoiler at all. They were just like aesthetic. It was not like anything that would give anything away in that panel. Um, did anything sort of reach out to you, Jess? Did anything, you see anything that sort of made you go, oh, I'm kind of, this makes me more interested in this house?
This is gonna be a really boring answer coming from me, but the masks, like the creature design,
Mm-hmm.
that the one of the woman with the like kind of like warped face, it looks so cool. And like the gargoyles, they weren't even painted, but like the detail in these sculpts, it's the detail we expect from Orlando, but like it was so impressive. And as someone who did not get to see Gothic, and I know it would probably be like number one above Graveyard Games if I did get to see it, possibly. Like it just looks like it all lives in that world. And I know they're saying it's inspired by, but like I'm so excited to see these creatures in their show lights, fully painted, in costume. Oh my God. I feel like I'm going to gush about this house
I
for
agree.
the next year. Yeah.
I completely agree. Those creature designs, scare actor costume designs look incredible. And I just love, honestly, I love the aesthetic that the couple of pictures we have give you, like, sort of dusty skulls, like sort of an art, but like, create, sort of the darker side of art. It's so interesting. And I think this house is just going to be filled with so much stuff. That I just can't wait. I cannot wait for the vibe of this house. This is going to be, no matter what, like feel like top 5 on the hype list, probably higher, because just everything is speaking to me. I know, speaking to us. I
Hmm.
haven't seen a single person who saw this announcement go, I'm not really excited for this. Everyone is going, wow, here we are. This is the original house we've been waiting for. And that's exciting. And you know what makes it even more exciting?
What?
The house designer is, I don't know how to say their name. I think it's Dylan Colath, if I'm saying it wrong, I'm super
I
sorry.
think so.
I think so. If I said their name wrong, I'm super sorry about that. But they helped design Dead Man's Pier, Blood Moon. Pretty sure also Goblin's Feast.
Hmm.
So they are a very
Yep.
set heavy designer, and they are gonna be a part of this house. And that is very exciting. That's a reason they said it at the panel, because they want to let you know that this house is going to be very set heavy. And not only that, but the show director and writer for this house is Ramon. And he also
Yes.
mentioned that this was a passion project of his.
Yeah. I mean, I assume that. I hadn't seen anything that confirmed it, but just there was a picture someone posted of his face when they were announcing it, and he looked like I don't like someone who's like dream. Like he was living his dream, and I was just so happy to see that picture in that post. I wish I knew who posted it, but I I love his work in Horror Nights in the last couple of years. He is killing it, and he's gotten
Hmm.
more responsibility and like more and more and more every year. This man makes great houses. Like we're going to be talking about his work for years. And I feel like his energy and his passion already in this just from what we have so far. And that excites me even more.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think this is a great combo, because you are taking amazing set design and pairing that with amazing storytelling and show direction. And I mean, if the story is even close in terms of portrayed in the house, how it was in that little video they played, um, I mean, I think we got some really, really magical on our hands. I don't want to overhype anything, because I do know that, especially with originals, when you have such a high expectation, sometimes your expectations get to the better of you, and at the end of the day, like, it can't hit those.
Mhm.
But we're talking ghosts, we're talking haunted house, we're talking story that, so far, what we know is really like interesting and has a lot of depth, and is not just basic, but is also easy for the general public to understand. We're talking set design, like, this house has all of the elements to make for one of the great Halloween Horror Nights original houses that HHN is known for. And I
Mhm.
really think that's what this is going to be, or at least I really hope so.
I just had a thought while we were just discussing that too. I know
Ooh.
this like confirms it, but now my next thought. So there was that call for Spanish speaking, and everybody thought it was
Mm-hmm.
the icon. Could Sergio be actor A on a microphone in this house?
You know what? I would think so. That would actually make so much sense because in the video he was narrating. He was
Yeah.
specifically talking, and what if you enter the house and he's talking to himself while he's doing his artwork or something like that?
Oh
Or
my god.
oh, that would be fantastic.
They could easily just make it like him, like just lip syncing over audio, but like it'd be really cool to have a scene with him on the mic or something.
Yeah, please make this happen, Hornet. I understand why, like sometimes you can't. It's hard, especially if it's a long narration. You don't want someone saying that narration over and over and over again for the
Hmm.
whole set. Like, but if it's like a couple short things, or they're able to like sort of explain their story, or maybe talk to you, like, why are we there? We don't even know. There could be a reason. There could be like we're here to see his artwork and something happens, or we're seeing his story from a perspective and we are ghosts. Like, who knows what our
Mm.
role is in the story?
Oh
Um,
yeah, he might because he's yeah, he might think that we're also ghosts. That'd be cool then because it could be kind of like Janine in 29, where she
mhm.
talked to you and did her lines, but
That
huh.
would be so cool if we were like passing through, like just spirits passing through this house, because it's obviously a place that would have that sort of feel to it, have that sort of energy that would allow spirits to pass through, because that's what's happening in the house.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be really cool.
Huh.
I
I'm
I
so
hope we take
excited.
that route.
Wow.
Yeah, I can't stop. I'm not gonna be able to stop thinking about this house. And the funny part is, I'm so worried. By the time we drop this episode, we're gonna aim for Monday, because last year, after this happened, Spooky, the week after, they had a new original every single day, and
Uh-huh.
I'm part of me is really worried that's exactly what's gonna happen, and this episode's gonna come out hopefully, in the morning, so before anything else comes out. But if they do it like last year, by the week after, by the next week's episode, we're gonna have four more houses to talk about.
Oh my god.
I don't want to think about it. I don't want to think about it. But I'm so happy that this is the one they announced. Because I mean, it wasn't like rumored Hatchet and Chains, or whatever like that, which we were sort of all kind of expecting, because last year's was Slaughter Cinema too. But I think the reason they did is because they made sure to mention in the panel that Sergio Navarro is not an icon, but he will have a heavy influence on the overall event. Um, there is a beginning, middle, and end to his story in the house, but how it relates to the rest of the event is a discovery you can take on yourself, and how you feel about the character. So we have confirmation that while he is not an icon, they made sure to say that. They even made sure to compare him to, like, he's not Oddfellow, he's not Jack the Clown, he's not an icon, guys. But he will have some sort of influence on the event as a whole, considering where his house takes place, considering maybe he's the catalyst to everything. Who knows how that works? But um how do we feel about that?
I think that's what it should be. I've been on this train. I don't think we need an icon right now. I think we need a break from icons.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that we have to discover like how he relates to the rest of the event. I have a theory, which is probably what everybody's thinking, that it's just whatever portal his house has opened up is
Right.
the event. Like we're in that conservatory, we're in his conservatory. I feel like they've kind of established that without saying it.
Mm-hmm.
But like this is kind of giving me what I wanted for Horror Unleashed at the beginning of the episode, like discover, find things, unlock the story like how you want to. If you want to just go and go through the houses and like leave, do that. But if you want to interact, maybe Sergio is somewhere else in the park.
Yeah,
Like,
maybe. Unless
yeah,
unless he dies at the end, who knows? Or maybe he becomes a ghost. Maybe.
I feel like he might already be by the time we get in there
Yeah,
and
we might
not
have
realize
already
it.
walk in
Yeah.
and he's already possessed at that point, or a ghost or something like that. Who knows? But Yeah. This this is really getting me excited about the event. Like before the IPs are announced, that's always exciting. You get your first taste of the event. There's merch drop. You're feeling Halloween Horror Nights, but this is so tied into what the event's going to be. Everything in this panel that we heard, and this house in particular. I cannot stop thinking about the event yet. It's that time. We are full on into Halloween Horror Nights hype.
Yeah, we got construction updates, an original house. Like, this is what us crazy HHN folk, those of you who are listening to this and us, this is what we live for. I feel like this is like, you know, let me like equate it to like a big holiday for maybe people that aren't that crazy. But like, if you're listening to this, I know you're crazy. When you pull out your advent calendar or whatever for Christmas and you're counting down the days now and you're
Hmm.
like really hype. I don't know, like mom said we're making Christmas cookies or something. Like that's what this feels like. It's the prep. You're going shopping, you're
Yes.
getting your stuff. Like you're learning who's going to be at dinner on Christmas. Like where are you going? Like that's what this feels like. And it's just like I'm buzzing. I also feel like 365 has become a part-time job because it's that time of year. But that's just a personal thing. Like there's always something to talk about. Like we're not looking for content anymore. It is just falling in our laps. And it's
Yeah.
so nice. And there's always something to talk about. I love it.
The fact that I can start writing an outline and just have everything ready to go because everything was just laid out for me. Like I didn't need to go search in all the forums and dig and see what do the insiders say. This, and that. Try to find different things to expand for a whole hour episode. The fact that we just talked about simple things easily, and it was just all stuff that was announced. Crazy. It's so nice.
It's so nice. And we'll have more construction probably very soon because the trusses are up and that means even more is going to be popping up before we even realize it. So Duff is back on dry land, so he'll be doing those.
Yeah,
um, but we'll have those and we'll have everything. We try to get y'all the new tea as it comes out.
absolutely. And we should have a live, fingers crossed it, but we usually do have a live the next day after this episode's,
Tuesday.
yeah, Tuesday. So
Yeah.
we'll be talking all about this. And if something else that it gets announced on Monday and Tuesday, I guess we'll talk about that too. If they,
You're really trying to make that happen and it's really stressing me out,
I
John.
don't want it to happen because it's like it's hell for all of us, but
Yeah.
also like it's just like I'm expecting it because if I don't expect it, then when it happens, it's gonna like give me a wave of anxiety. Like, oh my god, it's exactly how I felt when Five Nights at Freddy's was randomly announced at
Yeah.
like 8 p.m. I have not felt that wave of anxiety since like that first original announcement on the Monday, the second
Mhm.
one where I was like, "Wow, what the hell?" So
Yep, that 5 nights really that really was weird.
yeah.
This is
But
less weird now. We're back to normal.
we're back to normal. Back to weird normal. I love it.
It's a haunt event.
Um, but I think we're done with our main segment. Do we have anything else to say before I take us out, or do we have any voicemails?
No, we got no voicemails. Please leave us one if you want to talk about El Artista. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, El Artista. I keep wanting to say Artisto, and I know that's wrong. But yeah, how do you feel about this house? Call us, let us know.
We want to know your thoughts. Our first original of the year, and we got, 4 more to go. So, there's going to be a lot of interesting stuff popping up. But with that said, we do have a social media accounts and voicemail. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at HN365. You can also find us at TikTok at HN365pod. Like we said before, we also have a Discord. Link is in the description if you want to see Alex go on Jimmy Fallon multiple times throughout the day. You can see that experience. We have a voicemail at 407-906-4134. We want to hear your thoughts on this original house. We want to hear your thoughts on whatever else gets announced by the time we release this episode. We'll see. And with that said, we will see you in the streets.